Hey, what's up everyone? We are driving around town right now, and for this video what I want to do is share with you 5 tips that I use when I am location scouting. These are tips that you could use for your photo shoots, for your video projects. It's going to be a lot of fun, but before we get started, since I'm going to be driving around, my car is super messy, super dirty right now, so I'm heading over to the car wash. We're going to get this thing clean, and then we will set out on our journey for the day. So without further ado, let's go get this car washed. All right, so let's get started with tip number 1, which is to just pay attention to your local environment as you're driving around, whether you're driving home or you're driving to work or to a friend's house. There are amazing places all around you that you may not even notice would make for great locations to do a photo shoot or to do your next video project. For example, the place that I'm at right now was on the way to the car wash, and we're just driving by and I'm like, you know what? This is different. I don't know what this is. And it turns out it's a telephone pole farm, which, I don't know, do these things grow out of the ground? I don't think they do. Yeah, they don't. But anyway, so it's a telephone pole farm. And so I was thinking to myself, man, this would be really cool to bring a model and use the telephone poles for leading lines, or maybe do some really cool video stuff out here where, you know, I mean, this isn't something you see every day, and just kind of like revealing a person in this really strange location. So you'll find places like this everywhere. Maybe not a telephone pole farm, but really cool locations that are just different, you know, and could make for a really nice backdrop for your photos or in your videos. So that would be the first tip, which would be pay attention as you're driving around, because there's probably great locations right under your nose and you don't even realize it. Okay, so let's talk about tip number 2, which kind of goes with tip number 1, which is looking around and just being aware of our surroundings. So I did that. I was on the way to the mall and I found this really cool location. I'm not sure what this is. It's just kind of like a structure that has all this amazing graffiti. And so tip number 2 is to drop pins on the locations that you're going to. So you could use an app like Google Maps as an example. And let's say here, I mean, this isn't an address. This isn't something that I could just plug in the GPS and it's gonna take me here. I may not remember where this is at. So you can use an app like Google Maps to drop a pin on the location and then save that as your potential photo shoot locations for you to visit in the future. So that is tip number 2. All right, so we don't have to go very far for tip number 3. We're still in the same location here. And that tip is to visit these locations at different times of day. The light is going to look different when you come during golden hour in the morning versus coming in the middle of the day, which right now it is 1 o'clock. So the light at 1 is going to be different than it is during the day or later on in the evening. So you want to come to these locations at different times to see when the light is going to be best. For example, if I came during golden hour to this location, the inside of this space is going to be lit completely different. You may not think, hey, let me come at 1 or noon to come to this location to shoot, but there's some cool things that are happening in this specific location because of the lighting being overhead, and there are these slots above us. So we have all these like little streams of light that are just pooling into this space. And so this could be something that if you want to go for like a moody shot or go for some creative lighting, the lighting right now at 1 o'clock is going to be much different than it's going to be later in the day. So that is tip number 3. Visit in the morning, midday, and at night just to see how the light varies from one time to the next. All right, so we were talking about paying attention, looking around, and I was driving to the mall and I noticed this spot, and I must have driven past this place like 30 or 40 times. And I'm wondering, what is this like weird structure doing out in the middle of a neighborhood? There's literally homes around us. There's a railroad around us. There's some industrial buildings down the road. And this kind of seems out of place, and I would just drive right past it. And so one day I decided to stop, take a look, and it turns out that it's a really cool location. So tip number 4 is going to be that when you're out location scouting, you want to make sure that you bring a friend with you. Bring 1 or 2 friends with you just to make sure that you're safe. You don't want to go out with a model for the very first time or a client for the very first time to a location that you haven't scouted because you just saw it and thought it would be a cool place to shoot. Could be that there's, I don't know, dangerous people out there. There could be animals out there. There could be structural integrity issues. And so you want to bring somebody with you when you go to location scout. Check the place out ahead of time. Just make sure that there aren't any things that are out there that might pose some issues and could pose some challenges, and that will help you out quite a bit in your scouting and ultimately with your photo shoots. So real quick, before I give you this last tip at this last location, one other thing that I was recommending to you in this last tip was to bring friends with you. And the main reason that I say this as well, and it totally skipped my mind, when you're out and about, you're gonna run into people, and randomly people are gonna see you with your camera. They might see you with your lenses. In this case, we're shooting this on a Sony FS7 Mark II with a big cine lens, and it's bound to happen that you're gonna be out in public, someone's gonna see you shooting, and they're just gonna get nosy. They're gonna walk up to you and they're gonna be like, oh, what are you shooting with? What are you doing? I've had times when I've done photo shoots where I'm with a model and they get cat calls and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you bring people with you. If anything, I have like a safe word when I'm out shooting, where if somebody is asking me a bunch of questions and I will, like, let's just say I say the word tomato, right? I'm like, oh man, you know, I really love tomatoes. That's kind of the cue for the people that are with me, that I'm stuck with somebody who keeps talking to me and they need to be like, hey Miguel, you have a phone call, or hey Miguel, I'm running a little bit late, I need to go, or just some kind of a cue to like pull me away from the situation. Does that ever happen to you guys? Like, am I the only one that these episodes happen to? What's the weirdest thing that somebody has said to you in public when you're out shooting or you're out location scouting? Leave that in the comment section below. I've got a bunch of them, but I'm gonna save mine because I want to hear yours, so leave that in the comments. And let's get to tip number 5. All right, so we're here for our final tip. We're getting kind of hungry. We've been driving around and it's really, really hot outside. So let me give you this last tip really quickly. Tip number 5 is bring a camera with you and take multiple photos, not just of where you plan on shooting. Like here across the street from the barbecue place that we're about to eat at, there's this little bridge here, and there's again, I think this actually is the same little canal that was in the prior tip. Like, it just keeps going. It's pretty awesome. So this could be a cool place to shoot too. But here on this bridge, this could be a great spot, and I tend to bring my camera with me and shoot a variety of different shots with my camera. I've got the Sony RX100. And I like this because this has a 24-70 lens. So I'll shoot a wide shot just to see what a shot would look like wide. I'll shoot a mid-range shot, and then I'll shoot one at the end of the focal length, just so that I can see what the location looks like at a variety of different focal lengths. So bring a camera with you when you're location scouting. Hopefully the combination of all of these tips will help you to save more time, find better locations, and hopefully just get better shots in the end. So if you guys enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel as well. There are more episodes that are going to be coming out in the very, very near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.